So, in your post that I saw, you were concerned about some matters impacting education in Virginia. Would you care to speak about them and why they matter to you and other parents?
Yes, when you talk about the minority achievement gap, um, the the poorer sections of the society, I don't consider them minority. They are just poor. They don't have the resources to send their children to wherever other people are sending their children for this supplemental education to compensate for the schools. So when I'm talking about Asian parents, I clearly know weekends they go to these extra programs, and after the class they go to these extra programs. That's where they pick up what is not available in the system,
Mhm.
like what I said, the repetitive arithmetic learning and basic English, the phonics based English, where they become better with their vocabulary and stuff early on. So we already know how these Asian parents are doing this. It's very clear across the nation, all cities, all suburbs, wherever Asians are, they're doing way better than even white population there. So why are we keep on talking about black versus white? Because Asians are doing better than white, and Asians are mostly immigrants. They came from somewhere. They didn't bring any privilege. They didn't bring any kind of extra advantage than the locals, but they're doing better. Yes, they definitely work hard, as I said, because they're more driven. But how about the children? They're also doing better because we expose them to these kind of learning techniques. So if we know this, that this is what is required for the entire society, for the poorer sections of the society to come up, then why don't we incorporate those common sense techniques into public schools?
Yes.
Public schools are so important. It's so critical. I studied in public schools in India. I didn't go to private schools where I pay a lot of money. My parents were not rich to do that. They were just middle class people, government job, ordinary middle class people. We went to ordinary schools, but I got good education because those schools were providing good education there. And I came here. I mean, my engineering degree was from a public institution in India. I came here. I went to University of Nevada, Reno. Again, reasonable fees. I have my master's degree, and I lived here. All my children went to Fairfax County Public Schools, and then University of Virginia. All public institutions, and my wife too. Same thing. All public institutions. So these public institutions, quality public institutions, make the ordinary people like me, the middle class people like me, to to cross over to the next phase of our life into more abundance and more success and more results. And we can do now whatever we want because we are now into that next level in our finances, in our economics. And this is all possible because of good public schools. So these good public schools are supposed to understand what needs to be done for these minority children. And but instead of doing that, what the system is telling is to take from the Asian Americans who are successful and thinking that they're just stealing it from somewhere or whatever, they're trying to distribute it by artificially reducing uh, Asian population and increasing the Hispanic African American population by removing merit based tests and stuff like that. What is it going to do? It's going to make our system further weak. We are already weak in STEM. I explained with my knowledge in the field, and we are making it further weak by removing the incentives to become good in STEM and good in English or whatever at the early age. And you're punishing Asian children, and you started calling them, they're not colored people anymore. They're different because they're doing better than white. Why they do better than white? Why can't we think beyond the skin color and try to understand that root cause and try to repair it for the other communities? So the school boards across the country are not doing it. They're playing politics with this discrepancy, and that is where feeling the ordinary citizens have to step up to get into these school boards and of influence so that we can try to influence the policy and we can make change happen. So that is one of my primary interests. I am, uh, I think a good public school system is so essential for America to remain on the cutting edge and to be the leader of the world. Because rich is a very small percentage. They can send their children to private schools. But if you don't take care of the middle class is dependent on public schools. And if we take the public school quality away, the middle class is what is going to suffer. And the minority children are going to suffer the most, because Asian Americans, they may cut more from their life luxuries and still maybe try to send their children to private schools to get the better education. But then people who cannot afford it, in no chance, they will be the one who will be falling down. So I think that is where my interest in public education, and to make sure that these systems that can be a way lot better if we come together and we analyze the issues and problems with a rational mind, without emotions and without politics. So that is why I recommend a quality upheaval, in the public education.